Karen didn't scream often. Oh, she complained, loud and proud, about wrinkled receipts, lukewarm lattes, and neighbors who dared park anywhere near her driveway. But this time, at exactly 3:17 a.m., Goldie Karen, the queen of contour and chaos, let out a blood-curdling scream loud enough to wake every sleeping soul in the cul-de-sac. Her golden Lexus, her pride, her baby, her Goldie Mobile, was gone. She stood barefoot in her fluffy pink robe, hair still miraculously voluminous from the night before, staring at the empty space where her car used to be. A small patch of oil was all that remained, glistening under the streetlight like a sick joke. "Whoever took my Lexus is about to meet their maker," she yelled into the darkness, heels clicking as she stormed back inside. Now, Karen wasn't your average drama queen. She had cameras, she had contacts, and she had an iPhone filled with more evidence folders than the local police. She marched to her kitchen, slammed down her caramel macchiato, which was mostly sugar and rage, and opened the security app. "Let's see who's dumb enough to rob a woman. Who has more followers than the mayor?" She muttered. The footage loaded, static, then movement. A figure, hooded, quick, confident. At exactly 3:12 a.m., the thief slipped into her driveway, picked her lock like it was a casual Tuesday, and drove off with a smug flick of the headlights. Karen blinked, rewound, watched again, and again. But the most disturbing part, as the car rolled out of the driveway, the thief looked straight into the camera and smiled. That smile wasn't random. It was personal. "Oh no, you didn't," she whispered. She wasn't going to wait for the police. No, this was war. Sparkly, petty, gold-glittered war. Karen was going to get her car back, and make the thief regret ever messing with a woman who wore gold heels to yoga. Because no one steals from Goldie Karen and gets away with it. Not in this lifetime. Karen didn't call the police. She called Sasha, her hairstylist, therapist, and on-again, off-again hacker. Within 5 minutes, Sasha was on FaceTime, eye patches on, sipping chamomile tea. "Karen, it's literally 4 in the morning. Sasha, someone took my Lexus." "Which one? The gold one?" "Sasha, the one with the rhinestone gear shift, and the heated seats that whisper encouragement." Sasha sipped. "Okay, I'm awake now." Karen flipped the camera and showed the security footage. Sasha squinted, then paused it. "There, that little shimmer. That's a custom license plate frame. Looks like a dealership model. I can trace it." "Trace it?" Karen leaned closer. "You mean, you can find this thief?" Sasha smirked. "Honey, I've tracked cheating husbands across 3 states. I can find your sparkle thief." While Sasha worked her digital magic, Karen didn't sit still. Oh no. She put on her revenge outfit, black leather leggings, a gold bomber jacket, red lipstick, and her "Don't Mess With Me" hoops. By sunrise, she had a hit, a location ping from her car's Bluetooth system. It was parked behind a laundromat 3 blocks away. Karen's eyes narrowed. Laundromat? That's where dreams go to die. She marched straight there, stilettos tapping on the concrete like war drums. When she arrived, there it was. Her Lexus, parked casually like it hadn't just committed betrayal. She took a deep breath, then spotted something strange. A note, stuck under her windshield. Typed, no handwriting. "You're interesting. Let's play." Karen froze. Her heart thudded, not from fear but from fury. "Play? Play?" she hissed. "I don't play, darling. I dominate." She opened the door, surprisingly unlocked. Inside, everything was as she left it, except for one thing. A keycard, glossy, black, and stamped with a gold phoenix symbol. Sasha gasped over FaceTime. "Karen!" "That's from Club Andromeda." Karen blinked. "That bougie underground place with the crypto, billionaires, and glow-in-the-dark sushi?" "Exactly. Nobody gets in without a keycard. You think the thief's a member?" Karen stared at the phoenix, fingers tightening. "No," she said. "I think the thief's inviting me inside. This wasn't just Grand Theft Auto anymore. This was a game. And Goldie Karen? She never backed down from a challenge, especially not one that came wrapped in velvet. Mystery and high-end sabotage." She slid the card into her bag. "I'm going to Club Andromeda." Karen had never been to Club Andromeda. She had heard of it, of course. Whispered over overpriced brunches and Botox chairs. A place for the elite, the eccentric, and the extremely well-connected. If the Illuminati had bottle service, they'd host it here. But tonight, she was walking in. The bouncer didn't blink when she flashed the Phoenix card, just gave her a small nod and pushed open a thick velvet door. Inside it was surreal. The walls shimmered like galaxies. The music wasn't loud, it vibrated through your bones. Bartenders moved like dancers. Everyone looked rich, reckless, or dangerous. Karen, she looked like revenge dipped in gold. She made her way through the crowd, heels slicing the air like threats. She didn't know what, or who, she was looking for. But her instincts? Razor sharp. Then she saw him, leaning against the bar. Black hoodie, That same smug smile from the security footage. The thief. He looked right at her, raised his glass. Like this was a date. Karen didn't break stride. She walked straight up, grabbed his drink, and took a sip without asking. "Nice teeth," she said coldly. "You brush before or after you steal cars?" He laughed, smooth, unbothered. "Goldie Karen, the legend's real, and you're about to become a cautionary tale." He leaned in, voice low. "I didn't steal your car. I borrowed it. To get your attention." She blinked. "What?" "I needed you. You're not just a socialite. You're a storm in heels. I've been watching you." "Creepy," she snapped. "I run a network. Call it freelance justice. We expose people who think they're untouchable. Dirty CEOs, politicians, blackmail rings. We don't break laws. We expose the ones who do." Karen raised an eyebrow. "And you thought stealing my Lexus was the recruitment process?" He smirked. "You're bold, smart, loud enough to scare a banker into confession. I need someone like you." Karen stared, processing. This wasn't about her car. This was about pulling her into something bigger. Then he dropped a bomb. "The man who ordered your car borrowed. He's not done. You've already been targeted. That Phoenix card? It's not an invitation. It's a warning." Karen's blood turned to ice. This wasn't a game anymore. It was a trap. But darling, she was ready to play. Karen didn't like being warned. She especially didn't like being targeted. Back in her Lexus, she gripped the steering wheel tighter than her favorite contour brush. "So let me get this straight," she muttered. "Some underground network of tech vigilantes wants me to help them expose corruption. But there's another, darker group who's already watching me." Her brain buzzed like a hot curling iron on max heat. She had options. 1. Go home, drink a matcha martini, and pretend none of this happened. 2. Kick this door of danger wide open and own it. Naturally, she picked door number 2, with Sasha on speaker. Karen headed to the only place she knew would give her answers. The Mirror Room, a secret lounge behind club. Andromeda that only opened for, well, people who had Phoenix cards and unfinished business. A masked concierge let her in with a nod. It was dim, sleek, and lined with full-length mirrors. But Karen wasn't alone. At the center of the room sat a woman, poised, powerful, and wrapped in a blood-red scarf that coiled around her neck like silk danger. Her name was Mariska Vale, and she was the one who had ordered Karen's car borrowed. "You have flair," Mariska said, eyes sharp as broken diamonds. "But you're reckless." Karen folded her arms. "And you have bad manners. You could have just DM'd me." Mariska smiled. "I needed to test your response. You react under pressure. You don't collapse. You dig in. That makes you useful." Karen leaned in. "Useful for what, exactly?" Mariska slid a black folder across the table. Inside were photos. One of Karen's neighbors, Mr. Leary, the bland guy with 5 lawn ornaments and suspiciously expensive suits, shaking hands with someone she recognized from the news. A financier, under investigation, and allegedly vanished 6 months ago. Karen's breath caught. "You want me to spy on Leary?" she asked. "Not spy," Mariska said. "Expose. He's laundering money through real estate proxies. One of them is tied to your name. You've been looped in, unknowingly." Karen's eyes widened. "You mean I'm involved?" "Not yet. But you will be," Mariska said softly. "Unless you take control." This wasn't just a mission anymore. It was personal. Karen snapped the folder shut. She stood up, adjusted her gold bomber, and tossed her hair like a battle cry. "You messed with the wrong woman," she said. Mariska smiled. "Good. Let's burn them down." Karen never liked garden parties. Too many people pretending to like kale. Too many floppy hats and fake laughter. But today's was different. Today's was war. Mr. Leary, suburban hedge fund zombie and all-around suspicious neighbor, was hosting his annual charity, Green for the Planet Gala. But what he didn't know? Karen was bringing fire, with Sasha feeding her data through an earpiece, and Mariska's folder tucked in her rhinestone clutch. Karen walked through the crowd like she owned the estate. Her plan was simple. Smile, sip, sting. Leary spotted her across the lawn and gave a tight grin. "Karen, didn't expect you here." She leaned in with a wink, just trying to give back, one overpriced salad at a time. They clinked glasses, but Karen's eyes scanned the space. Behind him, a white tent with restricted access. According to Sasha, that's where Leary kept his encrypted laptop, files, and apparently several very illegal contracts. She waited for her moment. Then, bam, distraction. A server tripped, champagne flew, people gasped. Karen slipped through the chaos and into the tent. Inside, it was like stepping into a villain's Etsy shop. Laptops, fake documents, 3 phones, and a USB with a golden phoenix engraved on it. Their symbol, from the card. A betrayal? Karen narrowed her eyes. Someone from Mariska's circle had been working with Leary. She hit record on her phone, opening documents, taking photos. One file stood out, Goldie Karen escrow front PDF. Her heart sank. They weren't just pulling her into the scheme. They had already used her name to launder funds. Rage hit her like red lipstick on porcelain. Suddenly, a noise. Leary stood at the tent entrance, hand in his blazer. Karen raised her voice, just enough for the microphone hidden in her necklace to catch it. You really should have cleaned up after yourself. You're going down, Leary. He laughed. You're in over your head. But the moment he stepped forward, floodlights snapped on. FBI. Dozens of agents poured in, led by, of all people, Sasha in a blazer and sunglasses. Karen blinked. You called the feds? Sasha smirked. You called me at 3 a.m. over a stolen Lexus. I wasn't going to let that be the high point. Leary was cuffed, the data secured, and Karen, in the center of it all, looked radiant under the flashing lights. Days later, the headlines read, Goldie Karen uncovers suburban crime ring, wore Louboutins the entire time. She sipped her coffee, framed the article, and whispered to herself, next time someone wants to steal my car, they better bring flowers first.